I apologize for all the background noise in this particular video. I'm sorry! Technically, I've already filmed this video, but because I look way better now and I feel like I can do it way better than the first time I filmed it, I figured I'll just refilm it for the sake of refilming it. I'm already here. Might as well do it. Hi people! Welcome! If you're new here, my name is Zee and I run this YouTube page. But if you're not new here, you might know me from either Twitter or Instagram under the handle Fenty Beauty. So in today's video, it's my second part of my wants series, aka the reason why I'm always broke. So in this particular video, we're gonna start off with Western beauty ones. So I have my laptop right here, my MacBook 2017 MacBook Pro, and this is my makeup ones for Western beauty. Super long, and I'm not gonna include Revolution Beauty because that is another 2 videos on its own because of all the subcategories, sub-brands that Revolution Beauty have. And Revolution Beauty is like my favorite makeup brand, like by far my favorite makeup brand, and all their sub-brands are all my favorite minus Makeup Obsession. Makeup Obsession is kind of like, and Revolution Pro, these two are like whatever for me. But if I had to choose my favorite makeup brand, it has to be Revolution Beauty. So yeah, now let's get into my makeup ones. The very first brand that I'm gonna be talking about is a YouTuber brand, and this brand is called XO Beauty. If you don't know who is the founder of XO Beauty, her name is called Shannon Harris. She is known as Shaaanxo here on YouTube. Here's her photo right here. And the reason why she started XO Beauty was because of the lack of like good quality affordable brushes in New Zealand and Australia. Because New Zealand and Australia is so like isolated from the rest of the world, it's very expensive to get things imported. So she created her own makeup brush line, which is the start of XO Beauty. She started with makeup brushes to fill the gap in the market for New Zealand and Australia. There is some tea regarding that whole issue when she started her makeup brand or like her beauty line with brushes. There is tea behind it, and I understood the tea. I figured out what happened, and I understood like the whole scenario and why what happened. But I'm not gonna get into it because that is not my business. That is not for me to explain and like, you know, give you guys details and commentary and tea on. That's not my place. But I know what happened and I know why it happened, and I'm just like, whoever is involved, I'm not gonna support it anymore. Like the person who went against her brand, I'm not gonna support anymore. That's all. So I want everything from XO Beauty. First of all, being her brushes, and then I want to try her makeup stuff and her lashes as well. But if I had to choose, the first thing I want to try from her brand is definitely her lashes, because those are the most affordable things to try. As an unemployed person, I'm a fresh grad, as you all know, and I don't really have the money, and I'm bad at finance, horrible at managing my finances, so I never really saved for her stuff. And yeah, so I want to try her lashes first and then try out her brushes. I also want to try out her eyeshadow palette and her highlighters. I'm not really keen on her lipstick and lip pencil line. The color scheme is not really up my alley. They are more like pinky mauvey rather than the pinky brownie nude that I like. I like a more pink brown undertone rather than the pink and the cool tone pinks, you know. So her lipstick line is not really up my alley, but I do want to try her lashes. The only thing I'm like hesitant about with her lashes is that they are very long. They are your standard Western style lashes, which are super long even for the natural ones, and they look really intimidating, but they look so pretty. They look so pretty, so I really want to try them. Especially, I think the style that I want to try out is the last. Those look really good, and a few others as well. So that's XO Beauty. The next brand that I want to talk about is actually a brand that Shannon talks a lot about in her earlier days of YouTube, which is Chi Cosmetics. So Chi Cosmetics is a beauty makeup brand based in Australia, and I want everything from that brand as well. Like, I love Chi Chi Cosmetics, and like the whole aesthetic, especially their lipstick. The aesthetic of their lipstick is just so pretty, and then their eyeshadow palettes look really good too. They look like a dupe of the Huda Beauty like 9-pan eyeshadow palettes. They have a 9-pan too, which looks like a dupe for Huda Beauty. The only thing I do not like about Chi Chi Cosmetics is that their website sucks. Like, I've like checked the Chi Chi Beauty website almost like a year now. Every few months I'll check, and all their like popular items are always out of stock. They're just always out of stock. Their foundation in my shade, out of stock. Their primers, out of stock. Well, face primers, not eye primers. Their face primers are out of stock. Their BB creams, constantly out of stock. All their lipsticks in the popular shades are constantly out of stock. The only lipsticks that are in stock are lipsticks that are very, very colorful or very, very like out there for most people. Those are in stock. But the rest, it's been how long and they have not updated their website or like put things back in stock for people like me who are outside of Australia and New Zealand, who cannot go into a farmer's or like a drugstore or like a supermarket and find Chi Chi in store. Chi Chi Cosmetics, please, can you please like restock your website?
Hi people, editing Z jumping in this part of the video because I just want to update you all that after I filmed this video, I think a week after this video, Chi Chi Cosmetics has restocked most of the items in their website. So if you guys are interested in getting anything from Chi Chi Cosmetics, I suggest doing it quickly because when they run out of stock, they stay out of stock for quite a while. So just updating you all regarding that part of the video where I said Chi Chi is out of stock. Currently they are in stock, and yeah, quickly grab your stuff and we're gonna go back to the video. See you guys in a different part.
And the thing about Chi Chi Cosmetics is that they are an Australian brand, as I've said. So I just recently checked the exchange rate for Australian dollars to Singapore dollars. It's roughly 1-to-1. Singapore's like dollar power has definitely dropped. So for one Australian dollar, it's about 99 Singaporean cents. So it's still 1-to-1, and the pricing for Chi Chi Cosmetics is about the same as the L'Oreal and Maybelline and Revlon. So it's not that expensive for people in Singapore to purchase. Therefore, I'm really excited to try Chi Chi Cosmetics. However, once again, Chi Chi, please restock your website. There's nothing on your website for me to buy that I want to try out because they're all out of stock and they're only in stock in stores, and I can't fly to New Zealand or Australia in COVID-19. That's bro. Yeah, please just stock your website, okay? I want to try your stuff. Please. Anyway, moving on to the next brand is cult favorite brand since it came out, Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. So Rihanna. First thing I want to try out is definitely their powder bronzer. I have stared at their powder bronzer since it came out, and actually when I first saw the powder bronzer, I actually want to try out Island Ting until I saw Kenny JD try out Island Ting. And Kenny's shade in the Fenty Beauty line is in the 300s range, which is a lot darker than I am. I am in the upper 200 range, around 210, 215, 220. That's usually my shade in Fenty. So if Kenny, who's in the 300 range, can use Island Ting, is definitely too dark for me. So I want to try out Private Island, which is the shade up from Island Ting. So yeah, powder bronzer. It's I really want it, but I know for a fact that I probably won't get that much use out of it, but I just want it so bad. Next thing that I want is actually their highlighters. Their dual kilowatt highlighters. That's what I want. I just want to try it. I've never tried it before. I've never even swatched it before actually, and even if I did, I don't remember what I think of them. So I really want to try their kilowatt highlighters. I also want to try out their concealers. A lot of people have like mixed feelings about their concealers. Some people really don't like it, or like just don't like it, like Tammy Clark on here on YouTube. She doesn't really like the Fenty Beauty concealers. Other people really like it, though I don't remember who really liked it, but other people really like it. And then last but not least, I want to get the full size of their soft matte primer, the original primer that they came out with. I have the half-ounce version and I really like the primer. That is so far the only primer that works for me, that is still available for everyone to purchase. And yeah, so I just want to get the full size because I really like that primer. I might want to try their mattifying primer. That's a maybe because I'm not really into mattifying primers anymore. I'm okay with a soft matte or like just a neutral primer, but mattifying primer is not one that I go for nowadays because I don't really have dewy foundation, so having matte on matte on matte will just dry out my skin. So yeah. Moving on to the next brand, Too Faced Cosmetics. I know Too Faced has a lot of controversy regarding the owners, well, not really the owners, but like the founders of Too Faced. I'm gonna just put that aside and just focus on their products because I do have two of their products, which is the Peach Perfect foundation, which is my favorite foundation. It is. And then their Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer is something that I really like as well, which is something that I will also repurchase. Anyway, moving on from that, they recently came out with the Born This Way matte foundation, and I really want to try that out because I like matte foundations. I rather have like my skincare underneath and then have a matte foundation because my skincare can get a little like dewy, so it will counteract with the matte foundation, or use like a more hydrating, more dewy primer underneath a matte foundation so that it forms that barrier between my skin and the foundation and doesn't dry out my skin. Plus, I live in Singapore. It's humid all the freaking time. I walk out the door and it's like heat, like a wall of heat just hits me in the face. So having a matte foundation would probably last a lot better in Singapore because of how humid and how hot it is here. So that's the first thing from Too Faced. Next thing that I want is the Peachy Matte Eyeshadow Palette. I have wanted that palette for the longest time. I just can't. I have bad financial decisions, so I can't save for the life of me. Well, technically I can. I just recently achieved it. But when I first saw this palette and I wanted it, I wasn't able to save for it. So now I want that palette. Hardcore want that palette. It's just totally my color scheme. Plus the packaging is really sturdy, it's really cute, though the pony effect palettes look way better. Besides the point, I just really want that palette. End of story. Next up is the Primed and Poreless Primer. So I've mentioned Tammy Clark before. She really likes their Prime and Poreless Primer. It is a pretty mattifying primer from what she has said, but I think that would be okay for my natural Radiant Longwear foundation from NARS because that is pretty on the dewy end and it does get really like glowy throughout the day because of my natural oil. So I think that will work well with the Primed and Poreless Primer. Tammy can vouch for me. So yeah, I do want to try that. And then there's also the Born This Way pressed powder and the Chocolate Soleil bronzer. There's nothing much I want to talk about regarding that particular, well, those particular items. So yeah, there's nothing much else from Too Faced. Now moving on to Anastasia Beverly Hills. So the Anastasia Beverly Hills brand is kind of like meh for me now. Like there's nothing much that entices me from the brand. Like I'm not really into the eyebrow stuff. I have eyebrow stuff from affordable drugstore brands, so I don't really need to spend that kind of money on ABH eyebrow stuff. And then apart from that, they used to be known for their lipsticks apart from their eyeshadow palettes. The eyeshadow palettes are cult favorites till now, but they had matte liquid lipsticks that were really popular as well. But because the matte liquid lipstick trend has all but died down, it's like completely dead now. That's the wrong phrase. It is completely dead now. Though I still want to try. I heard it's really good. So I still want to try the matte liquid lipstick from ABH. I also want to try their bronzers. I've swatched it in store and I really like it. And then I want to try out their Soft Glam eyeshadow palette as well. Because I have the Revolution dupe of the Soft Glam palette. And I want to compare the two as well. And yeah, I have on my wants list the big Norvina palettes listed as a want. However, I will most likely never buy them. First of all, because they are colorful eyeshadow palettes. I'm not a very colorful person, as you can see. Not very colorful. And Secondly, because those palettes are around $100+ here in Singapore, I do not want to spend that kind of money for an eyeshadow palette that I will most likely not get a lot of use out of. So I do want to try out the palette, but I know for a fact that they will not get a lot of use. So that is a want, but I know I won't get it. Okay, next brand that I want to try out is MAC Cosmetics. I have not tried anything from MAC, and MAC is such a cult favorite, such a name brand in the beauty industry. Like, people who are not into beauty know about MAC Cosmetics, so I really want to try MAC, especially their prolonged wear line. That is something that I really want to try. I don't really care much for their lip stuff or their eyeshadows because plus the lip stuff has carmine in it, and if there's one thing that I would not put on myself that has carmine, would be lipsticks. That's the only thing that I will not like. Eyeshadow I can still like be okay with, but when it comes to carmine, I'm not gonna ever put carmine on my lips, so I'm not gonna ever try any MAC Cosmetics lipstick. Not that I've talked about MAC for a little bit, I do remember one thing that I've tried from MAC, which is their Fix Plus like spray. I actually really like that. The spray is not something a lot of people like. It's pretty aggressive, but I actually really like the spray. I don't know why, but I actually really like the spray. Perhaps it's like the whole history of MAC Fix Plus since back then. So having that bottle is like really like, wow, it's an achievement. So I've tried their MAC Fix Plus and I really liked it. I just want to try mostly their base stuff, so their foundation, concealer, and their powder. Basically the main three things that I want to try from MAC, though I'm not opposed to trying out other things from their line, but yeah, the base stuff is like the main stuff. Next brand is Charlotte Tilbury. So Charlotte Tilbury is it's been getting more and more popular now, especially since beauty YouTube has become a thing. Charlotte Tilbury is expensive though. We have it in Singapore in Sephora, and oh my gosh, it is so expensive. Like one eyeshadow quad is $90. 90! Wait, why? What? Foundation for like $80, I can still like, yeah, I get it, because you know, probably skincare ingredients, probably the high quality of the ingredients in their foundations. But eyeshadow, $93, 93 buckaroonies. Who has that? Like, what? But if I can afford Charlotte Tilbury, I would want to try almost everything except any of their eye stuff. If you want me to, like, you have to choose a Charlotte Tilbury eye product to buy, I will buy their like 12 pan eyeshadow palette that cost $130. That is the only thing I will buy, because it's a 12 pan eyeshadow palette, so $130 is okay. Like, but the rest of their eye stuff, you know, the eyeliner, the mascara, the quads, no, I will not spend any money on the eye stuff. And I want to try out their Flawless Airbrush Foundation, definitely. I want to try out perhaps the concealer. I'm not really into the concealer simply because it's a sponge tip and I hate sponge tips. When I used to have the Maybelline Age Rewind, even before I wound up the concealer, I just ripped off the sponge. I just don't want the sponge. It's unsanitary. I just, no sponge. And then what else was trying to be? Their lipsticks, their, what's that called? I forgot the name of the line. I forgot. How can I forget the most popular thing in Charlotte Tilbury's line? But I forgot the shade name. But that lipstick, that's all from Charlotte Tilbury that I want to try because it's expensive. Next brand is Juvia's Place. Now Juvia's Place is actually a brand that I've always wanted to try since I found their eyeshadow palettes on the internet. I don't remember how I found out about them, but then I saw their eyeshadow palettes and I was just like, I want them. My sister has a Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette, but I've yet to try it, so I can't really speak for the quality. I do, however, have their concealer, their Eye Magic concealer in J18. I've tried it pure before I mixed in the Maybelline Age Rewind Neutralizer. I've tried it in its pure form, and I really like it. Though I do agree with some people saying that it's a little bit too creamy and too hydrating. It doesn't really set, you know, you have to set it really well so that it doesn't like move around on your face. But I really like that. I really like that. And the things that I want to try from Juvia's list is literally everything. Like everything. Their eyeshadow palettes, their blushes, their highlighters, their loose powders, their foundation. I want to try everything from Juvia's list. I think the quality based on the people's reviews are really good. It speaks for itself. So yeah, everything from Juvia's place. Next brand is Ofra Cosmetics. Now Ofra is a brand that I'm actually really iffy about. I don't know whether I really want to spend the money on Ofra or not, because for what it is, it's actually pretty expensive. The eyeshadow palette, the layout looks really like gimmicky, or like it's just not enticing. And then the only thing that sells from Ofra is liquid lipstick, their blushes, and their highlighters. I do want to try out their highlighter. I want to try out their blushes. Smoky Glow here on YouTube. Her name is Hannah, but her YouTube name is Smoky Glow. She really likes their highlighter and their blushes. So because of her, I do want to try them out. Apart from that is their liquid lipstick. So I did mention the liquid lipstick. I do have 2 shades from them. I'm too lazy to pull them out, but I do have 2 of their liquid lipsticks, and I really like the formula. However, the shade range of their liquid lipstick sucks. The formula is really good, but the shades that they provide or they came out with is just really not people's cup of tea, which I think is why people don't buy from them. If they came up with more trendy shades like what I'm wearing right now, or like pinky browns, like nudie browns, those kind of colors, I think they would be more popular. So yeah, that's one thing. So from Ofra, highlighters, blushes, and liquid lipsticks. Though the liquid lipstick is kind of like maybe not. Actually no, not last but not least. What am I talking about? Next brand is Ardell. But before we get into Ardell, I want to have a coffee break. So while I was on my coffee break, I pulled up the Sephora website because I'm going to talk about Ardell. So for Ardell, the eyelashes that I want to try, because they're mostly eyelashes, though on Beauty Bay you can get Ardell makeup. I'm not really interested in their makeup, so I'm just going to skip out on all the makeup. Ardell is mostly known for their false lashes. And I've tried 1 pair of Demi Wispies. Those were definitely not my style. If I wanted like cat eye style false lashes, I would just go for Vichy Bloom in Girly Flare or number 6. Those are perfect. Chef's kiss. Connie was right when she recommended those. Those are amazing. Anyway, back to Ardell. So for Ardell, I want to try out, first of all, their wispy, just like the plain old wispy ones. They look really nice. And then the other ones that I want to try is their new lash line, which is called Naked Lashes, in the style number, what style is this? 422. They have 5 different styles in the Naked False Eyelash set, and all of them look really nice actually. Actually, I would try all of them, to be honest, except for maybe 423. 423 looks a little too cray-cray. And 421 as well. 421 and 423 look a little cray-cray, but 420, 422 and 424 are the lashes that I would try. 422 looks a lot like the Wispies, but I would say they are less dense than the Wispies. The Wispies are very dense. Though a lot of Western beauty gurus or beauty YouTubers say that the Wispies are natural lashes. For Asian eyes, not really. But yeah, I would try the Wispies and then the Naked Lash line from Ardell. No, that was really short. Moving on to the next brand, we have Hourglass. Now, Hourglass is a really expensive brand. And the thing that I want to try from Hourglass is their bronzers. So three different YouTubers that I watch regularly: Shannon, Emily Noel, as well as Hannah from Smoky Glow. All 3 YouTubers rave about the Hourglass bronzers. So I really want to try that out because they rave so much about it. I also want to try their blushes, but because every makeup brand is not opening their tests in the whole COVID-19 thing, so I can't really swatch it and see for myself how they look like and how they feel. So I will not buy any of them until like this whole fiasco is over. The last thing I want from Hourglass, but I'm pretty sure I will not buy, is their ambient lighting powders. Tati really raves about their ambient lighting powders, especially to set the under eyes. However, I think they're overpriced for what it is, so I'm just not going to spend them. I might swatch them in store and I'll see how I go from there. But even though I want it, I know pretty surely that I will not spend the money on those. So yeah, that's it for Hourglass. We're gonna move into Cover FX. So Cover FX is a brand that kind of fell off the trend wagon because after their custom cover drops trend kind of like blew over, they are like, no one really talks about them, not even their blushes. I know Hannah from Smoky Glow talks about their blushes and she really likes them. I really want to try them too, but they are completely out of stock in Sephora Singapore, so I can't try them out, though that's the number one thing I want to try out from Cover FX. Next that I want to try is their concealers, their custom cover drops as well, because I've never tried them when they were trendy. Now that they're not in trend but they're still available, I haven't tried them still. I've tried them in store, but they're not meant to be like, you know, swatched bare, so I still want to try them out. And then last but not least is their gripping primer. Tati and Rachel from Rich Loves, they both really like the gripping primer, so I really want to try out. Did the gripping primer come first or the Hydro Grip from Milk Makeup come first? Who knows? I don't know. Sound off in the comments below which one came first. I don't know. But yeah, they're kind of like the similar products, and if I like the gripping primer from Cover FX, most likely I will like the Hydro Grip from Milk Makeup. So yeah, that's it from Cover FX. The next brand that I want to talk about is actually a European based makeup brand, which is Kiko Milano. How did I come to find about Kiko Milano? My sister used to study in the UK, which is how I got into Revolution Beauty, and also the reason how I got to know Kiko Milano, because there were a lot of Kiko Milano stores in the university town that my sister was staying in, and I was really intrigued by all their products. They remind me a lot of Mina. Mina is like more like an Asian brand, while Kiko Milano is like the European Western counterpart or the originator, and their products look really really good. So from Soph Does Life, she raves about their like huge bronzers that comes out for every one of their like limited edition collections. So I really want to try out that bronzer as well as a lot of other things from their line as well. So yeah, Kiko Milano is another brand that I want to try. So the next brand I want to try out is M Cosmetics. I didn't get to try out M Cosmetics when it first launched because I was like a secondary school kid. I was in middle school. How could I afford that kind of makeup at that kind of price, you know? So I didn't try out when they first launched, but now that they have rebranded and relaunched, I really want to try out all their stuff. However, like a lot of her powder stuff or like colored stuff looks really pale, which I'm a little worried about. I like face products or color products with a little bit more pigment, but a lot of people say that they look and come off deeper than they do in the pan, so I don't know. I have to try it out before I give my solid like 2 cents on it. And the only thing I might not get from M Cosmetics is their serum blushes, because I just no, I think it's a little bit too finicky for me. If you like it, great on you. I personally know that I will not like it. Maybe if someone bought it for me and I got to try it out, then yeah, perhaps. But like as of right now, as it stands, it's not something that I am attracted to or am excited about. So that's probably the only thing I will skip out on from M Cosmetics. Alright, moving on. ELF. So for ELF, have I tried anything from ELF? Not really. Even though ELF is in Singapore, I've never really tried ELF Cosmetics. Nothing from them actually like enticed me, so I never really took a leap of faith and like bought anything from ELF Cosmetics.
And editing Z is back in the elf part of this video because I wanted to jump in and let you all know that yes, I actually have tried some e.l.f. products. I forgot that I had or used to have the e.l.f. contouring kit. I bought that in high school, and you can actually see me using the e.l.f. contouring kit in some of my IGTV videos. So I just wanted to let you all know before anyone comes for me that saying that, but I see in your IGTV videos that you've tried e.l.f. products. Yes, I know I've tried them and I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot. And yeah, that's it from me, from Editing Z, and I'll see you guys in the rest of the video, or at the end of the video. Bye guys!
But now I definitely want to try out their Poreless Putty Primer, both the matte and the normal version. I do want to try out their bite-sized line, so their bite-sized face stuff and their bite-sized eyeshadow palettes, because those have like really good reviews and they're really affordable. Everything else from e.l.f. I can pass on, but like, yeah, definitely the putty primer and their bite-sized stuff, and also their brushes. I think their stippling brush, which Emily from Emily Noel raves about this brush for like cream products. This is the e.l.f. small stipple brush. She now uses the e.l.f. small tapered brush a lot more than this. I haven't heard her talk about this in so long, but yeah, I bought this because of her when I was in Seattle back in 2014. I knew I had to get this, so I bought it, and best purchase ever. I use this a lot more for blushes because I really like applying blushes with a stippling brush. I find that they give that really nice blend and they don't disturb my foundation and concealer and powder underneath. So yeah, the e.l.f. small stipple brush. I want to try the rest of the e.l.f. brushes. So yeah, now on to the last two brands. I have two brands more. So for BH Cosmetics, I want to try out all their new releases and more of their brushes. For my friend's 22nd birthday, I bought for her the like poolside brush set, which I'll include a photo right here. It's like white with blue like barrels and like a shiny metallic blue like brush pouch, brush case or something like that. Yeah, I want to try more of their brushes from BH Cosmetics. Next up that I want to try is obviously their new stuff. They have the 8 color eyeshadow palette. It's like an ice cream, aesthetic ice cream kind of inspired collection. So it's like a monochromatic eyeshadow palette. They have a red theme, a purple pink theme, a neutral theme, a green theme. And yeah, I want to try those out in the colors that I want. And then apart from that, I do want to try out their face palette. So I watch Juicy Jazz, and Juicy Jazz really talks highly about their bronzer palette and their blush palette. So that's definitely what I want to try. And I also want to try their truffle blush palette. That looks really good, and it's like the first time I saw it or found out about it, it was completely sold out, except for like the really pale white based shades. Those were still in stock, but their other shades in the truffle blush line was like completely sold out. Is it called the truffle blush line? Well, on the website it says 4 color blush palette, but I've been saying truffle blush. Oh yes, it's called truffle blush. So the truffle blush palette is like really popular, so I want to try that. The 6-pan blush palette and bronzer palette that Juicy Jazz raves about, and then their eyeshadow palette, the ice cream inspired like set kind of thing. So yeah, what else do I want to try from BH Cosmetics? I know their eyeshadow palette quality, or like the eyeshadow quality is really good because I have this, the BH Cosmetics Shaaanxo the Remix palette. I really love the quality of the eyeshadow in those, so I'm pretty sure that their eyeshadow palette formula is not any different from the Shaaanxo one. So yeah, apart from that, lashes. So BH Cosmetics has really nice looking lashes, so I really want to try out their lashes as well. Apart from that, nothing else really enticed me from BH Cosmetics, so that's about it that I want to try. Last brand. Finally, we're on the last brand. It's almost 40 minutes filming. I hope I can edit this down to about 30 minutes again. Anyway, the last brand that I want to talk about from my Western beauty ones is ColourPop. So the thing is, even though Revolution Beauty is like my favorite makeup brand, they have scrapped free international shipping over £70, I think. Yeah, they scrapped it since then, and I haven't been back to the UK ever since my sister graduated, so I haven't been buying any of their stuff because no one is being a third party seller for any of the Revolution items because they have no more free shipping, so no one wants to invest the money to buy Revolution releases or Revolution products and resell them in Singapore or like anywhere. I haven't found anyone reselling the newer Revolution Beauty items, and it's really expensive to have it shipped to Singapore because their shipping price is, I think, £8, which roughly translates to about 16 Singapore dollars. That's a lot of money for shipping, you know. So if you're not buying a lot of items, you are, in Malay we call it rugi, which means like you're losing out. Like, yeah, you're losing out on a lot of money because of shipping. So yeah, I wish they brought back free shipping. They brought back free international shipping for one day. I don't even know why they did that, but yeah, okay, for one day. Back to ColourPop. So I would probably buy ColourPop over Revolution Beauty because ColourPop has free shipping. So they have free shipping for international orders over $50.
And editing Z is back. I didn't think that I would have to jump in a third time in this video, but apparently there are a lot of things that have changed since I filmed this particular video. And in this part, the ColourPop part, I mentioned how ColourPop used to have free shipping at $50, but now they have increased it to $60. So for all of y'all who are international like I am, ColourPop's free shipping for international orders is now at $60. So yeah, that's it hopefully for all editing Z has to jump in for. And yeah, that's it from me guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.
So that's the only reason why I would buy ColourPop over Revolution Beauty, even though I prefer Revolution Beauty products over ColourPop. So yeah, anyway, the things that I want from ColourPop is definitely more so their new releases. The things that I definitely want from ColourPop is my favorite item from ColourPop is their Super Shock blushes. Those are my favorite. I have Between the Sheets and Cool Intentions. Those are my favorite things from ColourPop. I also have the Biddy collection from when Pony did a collaboration with ColourPop. I have the eyeshadow palette, the highlighter, and the blushes, as well as the blotted lips. I think the blotted lips are my least favorite things from ColourPop, so I will not ever buy the blotted lips. Their satin liquid lipstick are my favorite things, apart from their eyeshadow. I have quite a few things from ColourPop. Eyeshadows, blushes, highlighters, yeah. But basically, I want definitely the new shades in the Super Shock blushes. That's definitely what I want. Second thing that I want is their whatever eyeshadow palette that looks really nice. I want the Luxe liquid lipsticks. Those look really good. They feel a lot like they are duping like Korean beauty tints in a way. They look very similar, so I definitely want to try the Luxe liquid lipsticks. I also want to try out their normal lipsticks, the blur ones, as well as the normal matte ones. And then, I want to try out their Pretty Fresh foundation as well. So the thing about Pretty Fresh is that I was not sold on it because I have a normal to oily combination skin, so I'm not really for dewy or like glowy foundations because I will get oily, I will get shiny, so dewy foundations are not it for me. However, my friend and my classmate, she gifted me with the Pretty Fresh concealer, and I tried it on my face and it looked so good, like so good, that I was like, okay, I'm pretty sold on it. So I want to try the Pretty Fresh foundation. I've tried their like original foundation, the matte one, I forgot what it's called. I've tried that foundation and it was too matte for me. So yeah, not really a fan of that one, which is surprising because I usually have a really good experience with a lot of matte foundations, but that one just seemed too matte, which is like a shock to me because I've never found a foundation that's too matte for me. But yeah, that was too matte. Plus it was the wrong shade as well. It was like too light for me. But yeah, I would probably like the Pretty Fresh foundation more. And with the Pretty Fresh foundation is when I will go for a more mattifying primer so that to balance out the dewiness. So yeah, what did I talk about for ColourPop? Basically that. Blushes, whatever eyeshadow palette, Luxe liquid lipstick, their Pretty Fresh foundation. What else do I want to try actually? That's about it, I would say. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, wait, one last one. There are 9 pan eyeshadow palettes with the mirrors, so the monochromatic ones. Well, basically all of them with the mirrors, the 9 pans. Those I definitely want to try. I've always been interested in them, especially the monochromatic line, but I've never like taken the plunge, because the thing about monochromatic lines is that you're not gonna reach for them because they're monochromatic, you know. So yeah, that's about it for the Western Beauty ones. Yeah, I think that's it. Good, finished. Anyway, I hope you guys liked that whole video topic. Oh my god, I rambled a lot actually. So but I hope you guys like the video, and if you guys want anything as well, sound off below what you guys want, just basically whatever you want. And yeah, now we're gonna go into the outro segment. So for today's outro segment is going to be a recommendation. So if you guys watch my very first YouTube video on YouTube, which is basically welcome to my channel, and the point of my channel, I told you guys that I want to have like K-pop idol of the moment outro and then music recommendation outro. Today is going to be neither of those two. In fact, it's going to be a recommendation on podcasts. So I've recently gotten really into podcasts, and my podcasts are from like Korean musicians, K-pop idols, kind of like that whole thing in that realm. The first one I want to recommend is the Tableau's podcast. Well, the Tableau podcast is the correct name. The Tableau. Why is your name and your podcast name so such a tongue twister? So the Tableau podcast. That, oh my god, Tableau and his podcast, chef's kiss. Next up, the other podcast that I wanna like plug is How Did I Get Here by Jay and Alexa. So How Did I Get Here is a podcast by Day 6's Jay. He is the original, sorry, airplane sounds. My house is near an airbase, so hence why every now and then there are days where you will hear all the jets fly past. How Did I Get Here was started by Day 6's Jay, and then somewhere along the line Alexa was a guest, and then Jay had like some health issues or like some personal issues, so he took a break, and then Alexa took over, and then I think the response has been really good, so it has been decided that Alexa will be his co-host. And I think, right, the best thing about a lot of the Dive Studios podcasts, well, not all of them, but like for specifically Jay and Alexa's How Did I Get Here, as well as the Tableau podcast, their producer Diane is like, I think what makes the podcast even more relatable. The episode that I'm on right now for How Did I Get Here by Jay, this is before Alexa joined, is episode 8, What Is My Love Language? And then I think either this one or like the previous one, Jay was like, my co-host Diane, and then Diane went all, I am not your co-host. But the thing is, Diane brings such a good like mix, or like her being part of the podcast is like really, she needs her own podcast basically. Like she makes the podcast better. Like the podcast is great on its own, both the Tableau podcast and the How Did I Get Here podcast, both of them are great on its own, but especially with Jay's podcast, with Diane being part of it, is like, it really is amazing with Diane in it. I don't know why she like is hesitant. Maybe there's a reason why that I'm not really understanding of, like I don't understand why, but because of like, you know, how it works, the podcast works. But Diane really is a great addition to almost all the podcasts. Some of the podcasts obviously is like perfect on its own, like who is it, Dave and Sam Hamilton's podcast. Diane can probably enhance it, but it's already perfect on its own. Diane doesn't need to be in it. Same with the Get Real podcast, I think is what it's called, by Ashley from Ladies Cook, Peniel from B2B, and DM from Card. Their podcast definitely doesn't need Diane in it. They have Peniel and DM in it. Enough humor and enough sarcasm and enough like wittiness that Diane doesn't need to jump in. So yeah, those are the few podcasts that I want to shout out, especially the Tableau podcast and How Did I Get Here by Jay and Alexa. Those two are like my current podcast. If you guys haven't listened to it, I highly recommend you do. So yeah, that's it for my video. It is now almost 50 minutes again for my video. Hopefully I can edit it down to something that's more manageable. So yeah, I hope you guys like the video. Hope you guys stay tuned, subscribe, ring your notification bells, you know, all the normal YouTube stuff, and stay tuned for more rambling content from me because I talk a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys like today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.